Last week I talked about how I wanted to deadlift all of 2025, and that was a New Year's resolution for me. And my goal was to increase my testosterone and then integrate it into being a arm wrestling movement also by doing a Superman deadlift. So no mixed grip, no hook grip, no straps. But to elaborate even further on just kind of like some of the benefits that I was thinking in my mind, you know, sort of goes along with arm wrestling and the testosterone thing. I want deadlifts and doing this deadlift program all year to make more of a man out of me. You know, I hate to say it like that, but it's true. It's not something I want to do. It's a long, hard, difficult workout that like I would not program for myself, or I would not really like think to do this workout the way it's written, you know. Ed Cohen and another guy, something Philippi or whatever, wrote this program. Granted, Ed Cohen was probably on gear, and I'm not, and it's hard to take advice from people that are too different from you. It's like a guy trying to follow a girl's program, or a really older person trying to follow a young man's program, somebody on steroids, you know, trying to follow their program, because the workload can be just so much different, and the intensity and everything. But as a personal trainer, I've also experienced where I've gotten people on machines and it would be like literally like one plate on a curl or like a leg extension or something, and they'd be like kind of questioning my professionalism, like, is this too intense for me, you know, like it can't get any less intense, you know, it's one plate. So it's like, the reality is some of these people, they've never played a sport and they're not used to being pushed either by a coach or by their peers, like in a group sports scenario or a one-on-one sports scenario, where they have to dig deep within themselves and pull more out of them than they thought was possible. You know, I think that's part of what's good about personal training, so hit me up if you need some. It's somebody that kind of knows within maybe their own limits, or you can even just kind of look at you and see like, oh, they've got more in them, or maybe they're afraid to output. So in my own training, like, I know this deadlift program is just stupidly hard, and I know it's hard for me to get through it. Granted, I'm natural and stuff, but I do think this program is doable. It is just once a week, so it demands a lot from you in that one day. Time for the top set, 430 pounds, one set of 2 reps. Just doing something that I don't want to be doing, and it's that hard for that long, and doing it for an entire year, you know, I do think it'll make, let's say, more of a man out of me. I'm definitely already man, you know, like, but I want it to make me tougher. I read somewhere actually that, like, I forgot what branch of the military it was, but like one of the elite forces that actually actively look for, out of all the sports that are played, they actually actively look for wrestlers because they have like a 90% chance of completing the training, whereas like every other sport was like far lower than that at completing, you know, this requirement, this physical requirement to be in that elite group. So, you know, we always give ourselves excuses why something's too hard or too uncomfortable and why we should stop and not do it. But the reality might just be, it's just like, you're just not made of wrestler material, you know, you played golf or something, and you did a year or two of soccer, you know, which is good too. All the sports are good, but maybe you just haven't made much of a man of yourself yet, and you need to do that by getting on a deadlift program. You know, I can admit it, for me, I could be tougher. I could, you know, and the more you get comfortable being uncomfortable, just the easier everything else becomes, the easier life becomes. It's like lifting weights, you know, it's like, for me, there was a time when like curling like a 50-pound dumbbell or something was like freaking heavy, you know, like max effort type stuff. Now it's like 50 pounds feels like nothing. I mean, particularly if you're doing like a partial range of motion or something, but it's that idea in some ways that it's just like, let me do something at a high enough intensity regularly enough that it just makes everything easier. Actually, this is the only day that I allow myself pre-workout or even take creatine. The rest of the week, I don't bother. But this is a hard enough day where it's like, I need the pre-workout, the creatine probably doesn't hurt, and a mid-workout snack also definitely doesn't hurt. I know not everybody can afford personal training, and personal training is very expensive. I mean, if you get training from a gym or even somebody freelance like myself, it's expensive. But I do think there is something extremely valuable in getting an opinion or feedback from someone else, or following somebody's program that has developed systems to help make them get stronger or lose weight or whatever it is that you're trying to work on. Or it's good to find somebody that's successful in what they do and try to learn from them and even pay them for that service. Partly why I want to get good at arm wrestling, honestly, is like I enjoy doing it, but it would be cool to get some clients that are arm wrestlers, but I gotta have people respect me as an arm wrestler first. But if you don't have the money for personal training, you can always look at YouTube videos. That's a free way of finding experts in whatever field you're interested in and learning from them. You can also do programs like the one I'm on right now. I mean, again, this is an Ed Cohen program, arguably the greatest deadlifter of all time. You have to take some of this with a grain of salt. Like, I do think the guy was probably on gear. I mean, more than likely he was on gear. So, I mean, this workout is stupidly hard, but I'm getting through it. Have gotten through it. I've actually done this deadlift program twice already. This will be the third time. I've done a squat program twice. It was a different than the Ed Cohen one. It's an Olympic weightlifting squat program, which I'm using for my arm wrestling program right now. I've done 2 arm wrestling programs using that squat program. This will be the third time. I've done a bench program twice. The second time I had to quit because I tweaked my neck twice during it. And after the second time, I was like, screw that. Probably just started too heavy. If you don't know what programs are or how they work, essentially you want to find what your max effort lift is in that movement. So say you want to do a deadlift program, you have to know what your current max deadlift is. So you might want to, be careful if you haven't deadlifted in a while, but if you're used to working out, do a max deadlift, and then everything written on the program is based on that your current max deadlift. So they tell you to do 70% for a 6x8. That's going off 70% of your current max. So you have to know your max. Everything is written based on that. Sometimes they're written based on your current max and your desired max, like the two of those things. They'll write their program with those numbers in mind. Because everything comes down to intensity. So essentially how heavy you're lifting, whether it's like your own body weight or external weights or bands or whatever, and volume, how many reps you're doing. So intensity, the resistance you're giving yourself, and volume, the amount of sets and reps, I should say, that you're doing. So if you're not gonna hire me as a trainer, get on a program, watch some YouTube videos, get some cues. Personal training is great because you can get feedback right away. So if you're doing something wrong, you're not going to be practicing a bunch of bad habits. But learn what the bad form is so you can avoid that. Become a master at the good form, and that way you're not hurting yourself and you're maximizing your efforts. I always feel happy and some good accomplishment when that's over. Definitely a tough workout. I know from personal experience, when you're new to the gym, you just kind of think that everything has to be a set of 10. I mean, I remember specifically just like, being a teenager doing like 135 on squats, 45 on each side, and doing like a set of 10 because it's like anything less than 10 was forbidden or something in the gym. You see everybody doing lots of reps or whatever. And I just remember thinking, how am I ever gonna do more weight than this for a set of 10? Well, it's like you could do less than that. Again, if you're struggling with getting stronger or improving, like you're stagnating, you've hit a plateau, just realize that there's something intensity-wise, so like the amount of weight or resistance from a rubber band or your own body weight that you need to change, or there's a volume that you need to change. You know, you're not doing enough of that stuff. So it's like maybe you're one of those people that don't have a problem with volume because you like to go to the gym and use the treadmill or the bike or take lots of walks or whatever. In that case, volume might not be your issue, but the intensity is super low, like you're taking a walk or a slow jog, for example, which allows you to do it for a long time. Maybe your intensity is really high because you're a power lifter or something and you do like heavy bench and squats and deadlifts, but you're not getting a lot of volume in. You need a healthy dose of both. And I think sometimes, you know, we're at this dawn of a technological era, but we're still very new to it, I feel like, and everybody wants technology or medicine to be the answer to all their problems. But I think if you look at some of the actors, because sometimes people just assume, oh, this actor, they just got the best of everything and they're getting tummy tucks and facelifts and all the best pills and blah, blah, blah that money can buy. And I think in some cases that's probably true. But I also think a lot of those actors, let's take like George Clooney or Brad Pitt. They've been around for a long time. They've looked pretty similar the whole time. I think they hire personal trainers that tell them like, look, we need to get your heart rate up. We need to get you sweating. We need to get you breathing hard. We need to get you time under tension. We need to increase your load. We need to increase your work. Or they hire nutritionists that are like, okay, what are you eating? What can we cut out to optimize? You know, what foods are you not eating that are good for you that we can add into your diet? You know, they tweak their diet. So it's like, there's no easy answer. There's no like magic pill or formula. When it comes down to it, if you want to have longevity and you want to look good, and sure, there are people that are taking steroids or whatever. Not everybody that looks better than you is going down that kind of dark path. You know, some people, they really do just try to live a clean life, work hard, and get good results because of that. And I really do believe that you can get incredible results naturally if you can optimize your intensity and your volume, those two things together, and you can, you know, do your part in recovery and diet and all that other stuff. Anyways, I really do appreciate you watching. If you found some value in this video, give it a like. I always appreciate the comments, and I love seeing that people are enjoying my videos. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and give me a subscribe so you can see future videos like this, and I will see you next time.